When we talk about ethics in governance, we should be very clear that the following are responsible for ensuring ethical conduct in governance: political, bureaucracy including law enforcement, strong military. Elimination of corruption is not only a moral imperative but an economic necessity for a nation aspiring to catch up with the rest of the world. The 6 perceived governance quality measures, each an aggregate of a number of sub-measures, are voice and accountability, absence of political instability and violence, government effectiveness, reasonableness of the regulatory burden, the rule of law, and the absence of graft. Of these, the last 2 are the most directly significant in the context of ethical governance. Rule of law measures whether crime is properly punished or not, enforceability of contracts, extent of black market, enforceable rights of property, extent of tax evasion, judiciary's independence, ability of business and people to challenge government action in courts, etc. Absence of graft measures relative absence of corruption among government, political and bureaucratic officials, of bribes related to securing of permits and licenses, of corruption in the judiciary, of corruption that scares off foreign investors. Integrity is much more than financial honesty. Public office should be treated as a trust. There are 2 facets to corruption: the institution which is highly corrupt, to individuals who are highly corrupt. Building trust and confidence requires an environment where there is a premium on transparency, openness, boldness, fairness and justice. We should encourage this. Good governance is ideally suited for a country like India, where many of our present day players in governance do not adhere to any principle and ensure only their own interests. Ethics is a set of standards that helps guide conduct. While it may not always be possible to establish the criminal offense of misappropriation in a court of law, the government servant can still be removed from service for causing serious monetary loss to the state. An engineer may have deliberately permitted the construction of a defective irrigation dam or building. It may not be possible to get him convicted in court on charges of corruption, but he could be removed from service on grounds of incompetence. A tax official may have connived to allow the leakage of revenue for return favors in the future. Such conduct may not provide the ingredients of a criminal offense but can lead to his exit from service. Ethics is a set of standards that society places on itself and which helps guide behavior, choices of actions. The crux of ethical behavior does not lie in bold words and expressions enshrined as standards, but in their adoption, in action, in sanction against their violations, in putting in place competent disciplinary bodies to investigate allegations of violations and impose sanctions quickly, and in promoting a culture of integrity. Corruption is an important manifestation of the failure of ethics. If good behavior is consistently rewarded and bad behavior consistently punished, the bulk of the people follow the straight and narrow path. However, if good behavior is not only not rewarded but is actually fraught with difficulties, and bad behavior is not only not punished but is often extravagantly rewarded, then the bulk of the people tend to stray from the honorable path. In our society, corruption and abuse of office has been aggravated by three factors. First, there is a colonial legacy of unchallenged authority and propensity to exercise power arbitrarily. In a society which worships power, it is easy for public officials to deviate from ethical conduct. Second, there is enormous asymmetry of power in our society. Nearly 90% of our people are in the unorganized sector. Quite a number of them lead a precarious existence depending on subsistence wages with no job security, and nearly 70% of the organized workers with job security and regular monthly wage are employed by the state directly or through public sector undertakings. Almost all these employees are educated in a largely illiterate and semi-literate society, and economically even the lowliest of public servants are better off than most people in the country. What is more, their employment in government comes with all the trappings of power. Such asymmetry of power reduces societal pressure to conform to ethical behavior and makes it easy to indulge in corruption. Over-regulation, severe restrictions on economic activity, excessive state control, near monopoly of the government in many sectors, and an economy of scarcity all created conditions conducive to unbridled corruption. In addition, many state subsidies and beneficiary-oriented programs has enhanced opportunities to indulge in corruption and reduced the citizens' capacity to resist Extortionary demands. Perhaps the most important determinant of the integrity of a society or the prevalence of corruption is the quality of politics. All forms of corruption are reprehensible, and we need to promote a culture of zero tolerance of corruption. But some forms of corruption are much more pernicious than others and deserve closer attention. In a vast majority of cases of bribery, the citizen is a victim of extortion and is compelled to pay a bribe in order to get a service to which he is entitled.